Let's talk about that word transformed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's thrown around so much today. We obviously think of the metamorphosis of a butterfly, or we see all the different things of what can be made more shiny and new, especially with technology. We can't keep up with the way technology is coming along today with smartphones and devices, and this seems transformative. How does your mind become renewed? What does that transformation look like, not just on the inside of who you are, but what happens on the outside?
Well, we talk about that. The first thing that comes to my mind is marriage. If you knew me a decade ago, I was a way different person. And people tell me that when they see me, they're like, "What has happened to you?" And what's happened to me is I'm the same person as a person, but that transformation happens as I make mistakes and I'm sorry, and I say, "God, help me," and He changes me. Or I go through hard seasons, and those hard seasons help my eyes to be able to open, and there's a little more transformation. And day by day, you don't see it. Just like a butterfly. Day by day, you don't see it. But when you stop and look back, there's a transformation. So physically, yeah, sometimes that transformation is not always the best as we grow older. But as far as physically looking at the person of who I am, God grows me. And it's a change of person. I don't think the way I thought a decade ago or 2 decades ago.
Right.
I don't respond the way I responded a decade ago or 2 decades ago.
Well, one thing I've noticed just at Church of the Rockies, just since you are now the senior pastor at the church, is I've seen a change in your mind, which has affected your emotions, which has affected your decision making about the church and which direction to go. And it's also given you insight with God on
Sure.
how to minister.
And I'll tell you what, once you start getting into emotions and you start talking about that, that's where people can say, "Hey, I relate." And we think a lot of times we allow a lot of times our emotions to drive us. We allow that to be the catalyst for us. And sometimes even as men, we can say, I can't help it. This is how I feel. And really, that's not true. It all has to do with our thinking. Our thinking controls that. And God gives us this ability, this gift called emotions. And it's like a mirror of what we're thinking. And a perfect example of that is it's understanding when we get angry about something. When someone says something bad and it makes us angry, and we want to, my wife and I recently, we were doing some housework around the house, and we were doing some touch-up stuff, and I was dealing with this pipe, and I thought my wife took the pipe, so I was trying to fix the sprinkler system. And so I was mad at her, and I was angry at her, and I thought she had thrown it away, and my emotions were controlling things. And then I found the pipe. Once I found the pipe, my emotions changed immediately, because I accused her of doing this, but in reality it hadn't. And when I realized in my mind she hadn't taken the pipe, it switched my emotions. So my mind was controlling my outward emotions. So if I change my thinking, it changes my outward expression. This applies to everything.
Right.
This applies in our business place, our work. This applies with our children. This applies with our spouse. This applies to God. So when we put on the mind of Christ and realize, okay, Christ has done it all. I don't have to earn it myself. Christ has done it. It changes the way we think. We can be more relaxed. We can be at rest. We can realize that Christ is taking care of this. And we become transformed. We become that little butterfly.